Good evening and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Great to see all of you here in the sanctuary. I'm Rabbi Matt Berger, joined on the bima with our soloist Allison Rosoff, and down at the piano, our accompanist Joy Katzen-Guthrie, both fresh off a wonderful Bay Area Cantorial Association concert last Sunday, which I know some of you attended. It was very, very nice. And we had a very, very good crowd, not only from here, but also from other locations within Pinellas County. Great to see all of you. We are going to open our service on page 14 in the prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, Dwelling Place of Prayer. As always, as we receive Shabbat in the Kabbalat Shabbat service, we read or chant or sing some of the Tehillim, some of the Psalms. And Psalm 97 is what we're going to sing at this point. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, that light is sown for the righteous and radiance for the upright. Zarua Lat Tzaddik Ish Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik Ish Lev Simcha. Simechu tzadikim b'Adonai, b'Adonai, v'hodu l'zecher kodsho, l'zecher kodsho. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik Ish Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik Ish Lev Simcha. I'd like to invite any ladies who are comfortable to ascend the steps on the bima to help us light our Shabbat candles. You'll find the blessing for lighting the twin candles, one for remembering and one for observing Shabbat, on page 2 in your prayer books. And I'll have you know we have a brand new magnesium strip on our matchbook, so it should be smooth sailing. See the way to you, let us say Let's all say Yasher Koach, well done to these lovely ladies. May you all have a peaceful Shabbat. Thank you. And as our thoughts turn to Israel, you'll find two prayers that I blended into one for thinking about the state and the Holy Land of our people. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. May you bless the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces and all who stand guard to protect our people. Shield them from all troubles and injury. Help them secure freedom without loss of life for all those held captive by the enemy. May they have strength and courage of heart. Turning back to the prayer book on page 24, you'll find a traditional Shabbat song, Shalom Aleichem, peace be to you, welcoming the special messengers or angels of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Ki Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Ni Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Archuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Ni Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Ni Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Making our way to the next part of our service, Shema and its blessings. On page 26, you'll find the words of Kaddish praise.
Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shmei Rabbah, B'yamad Yivrach Yutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon Uv'yomechon, Uv'chayei de kol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uv'izman Kariv, V'imaru, Amen. Yishmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'lam me'yamaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitraman, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yit'aleh, V'yithalal, Shemei dekudesha brichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'ama, v'imaru, amen.
Let's rise now for the call to prayer, the words of the Baruch Hu. Let's continue with Ma'ariv Arvim, a prayer for creation on 31 together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And a prayer of love, Ahavat Olam, is found in the middle of 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We'll sing, Open Up Our Eyes. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes.
Teach us how to live.
Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. And we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Feel free to be seated. We'll continue chanting the words of the Shema. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha b'derech u'shokbecha uvkumecha u'kshartam le'od ayadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam amizuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'loechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etem me'aretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Please join me on the top of page 39, words of truth and faith, emet ve'emunah. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we are taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Words that we'll soon sing, maybe in about 11 days or so, in our Passover Seder. Mi chamocha, who is like you? Kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha Nedar ba'kodesh Norati lo Oseh vele Norati lo Oseh vele Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Norati lo Oseh vele Norati lo Oseh vele On page 42, please join us as we sing a song of shelter, the arrangement by Ma Tovu. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom. Amidenu Shomreinu L'Chaim. Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Shelter us between thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Blessed are you, God, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Let's rise now for our standing prayers, asking that God open up our lips.
Adonai, sivatai tiftach, ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Lifnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol, Atah Rav Loshia, Morid atah. Nechachel Chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech novdim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umechayen emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, u'midom melach, melech memid u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanata lechachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yam ya'alu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Feel free to be seated. We'll continue now with blessings 4 through 7 of the Tefillah. First, for the holiness of Shabbat. You'll find this blessing on page 55. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. And a prayer called Avodah, asking that God's presence remain with us wherever we are. Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato litzion. And a prayer of gratitude, or hoda'ah. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh lechodot. And finally, our prayer of peace, Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha, is found on page 60. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And on page 62, you'll find our song of peace, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. You'll find our prayer of healing, Misha Berach, God the one who blesses those in need, on page 253 of your prayer book. Of course, we think of all those in Israel and Ukraine who are dealing with injuries or trauma. We also think about those in Texas today when it was a semi-truck that went into a Department of Motor Vehicles, and we hope that they are okay as well. That was in Texas. And to these names, we add the following in our community and beyond: Joanne Beeman Fiddleman, Yonatan Reuven Ben Rivka, Charlie Burke, Brad Bliefeld, Tina Bruns, Marie D'Alessandro, Denise Hart, Norman Fiddleman, Sue Fischelo, Harry Fleisch, Mitchell Freifeld, David Friedlander, Joyce Holbrook, Jim Howard, Kathy Howard, Susan Caldy, Phyllis King, Lou Quall, Dave Lawrence, Joan Lawrence, Jonathan Marks, Tova Marks, Ken Mercereau, Arnold Miller, William Miller, Michael Ranzino, Stephanie Ross, Carol Sabani, Dennis Schulman, Cal Simon, Angie Sermenis, Jeff Stark, and Frank Zokola. Are there any other names you'd like to add at this time?
Kiki Lopez, Mr. Cleary, my father, George Stark.
Misheberach Avotenu Mikor habracha Imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing,
And let us say, Misheberach Imotenu Mikol habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. At this time, I'll ask our tech team to display an image on the screen, which will soon make sense and serve as a complement to the following story. Upon wrapping up a lesson he was teaching to some younger students during religious school, the rabbi looked at the class and asked if they had any questions. Always a good thing for a rabbi to do. Little David quickly raised his hand and said, "Please call on me." Rabbi says, "Yes, David. What question would you like to ask?" "Well, Rabbi, if it's okay with you, I actually have 4 questions. Is it true that after the children of Israel crossed the Red Sea, they journeyed to Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments?" The rabbi answered, "Yes, David, that's correct." Nodding to the rabbi, David asked his second question. "And the children of Israel, they also defeated the Philistines?" Impressed, the rabbi answers, "Yes, David, you're a wise one. That's also true." Feeling confident now, David asks his third question. "Rabbi, did the children of Israel also build the Mishkan, or the portable sanctuary?" The rabbi says, "Again, you are correct, little David." David then asks his final question. "So, Rabbi, if all of this is true about the children of Israel, what were all the grown-ups doing at that time?" Little David, what a Talmid Chacham, what a little wise student. Precocious as well. And while he's likely taking the biblical stories a bit too literally, you can't fault his enthusiasm and quest for knowledge. This joke for me is a reminder that in less than 2 weeks' time, children across the world, or adults, if you happen to be the youngest one at the Seder table, will ask the famous 4 questions during Passover, which I'll ask our tech team to display right there on the screen. You know them. Ma nishana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, mikol halelot. Why is this night different from all other nights where we eat matzah instead of chametz or leavened bread, where we eat maror or bitter herbs, where we dip foods not once but twice, and where we recline? The answers to these questions, of course, are laid out in the Haggadah, or Passover Seder booklet, where the story of Israelite slavery, redemption, and freedom is told. In every generation, we should ask new questions. And while the Haggadah never explicitly makes this demand, the Mishnah, on the other hand, does. This is the first written collection of what used to be oral Torah, which said intelligent children needed to ask questions of their own, which naturally, of course, would reflect the historical era in which they lived. Even the recommended number of questions has changed over time. There used to be 3, and now that there are 4. For instance, in the early kibbutz days, this is when Israelites or people in Israel lived in communal towns and villages, the 4 questions were retooled to transcend just the ritual issues and to focus on contemporary concerns, such as battling the Arabs in the 1930s, facing the Holocaust in the 1940s, and the ingathering of over 1 million Jews to the land and then state of Israel in the 1950s. At Kibbutz Ein Harod, which is in the northern part of Israel in the Galilee, for instance, children in the 1930s and 40s asked these 4 questions. Why do people all over the world hate Jews? When will the Jews return to their land? This is pre-state. When will our land, Israel, become a fertile garden? And when will there be peace and brotherhood the world over? With the exception of the fertile garden, which Israel has largely achieved through hard work and ingenuity, making famously the desert bloom, the other 3 questions could easily be asked this year. And if we go back further still, the Talmud, which includes the Mishnah, the oral Torah written down, plus its commentary, recounts the story of a young student named Abaye. Now, he was invited to the Seder of his teacher, Rabbah bar Nachmani. No pressure there. At some point in the beginning of this Seder, Rabbah, the teacher, suddenly had all the dishes removed from the table. Amazed, Abaye asked, "Why are you removing the Seder plate before we have even eaten?" Rabbah answers, "Abaye, your question has served the same purpose as the usual 4 questions. Let's dispense with that set and proceed directly to the telling of the story." Now, the rabbis certainly knew a thing or 2 about education. Whenever teachers can get their students, whatever the age, to pay attention and get their minds working on something they find interesting, it goes a long way towards creating an openness to learning new things. This is why our sages were insistent that the Exodus story open with a spontaneous question. Why is this night different from all other nights? On a deeper level, the sages of old wanted to remind us that questioning is an essential part of Judaism, as well as the freedom we celebrate at every Seder. Free people take notice of the world around them. It allows them to see similarities, differences, and meaningful patterns. Living as slaves in Egypt, the Israelites really from day to day didn't experience anything radically different. One day was similar to the next. And there's no point in asking questions if no one would answer, especially when the master's orders, however arbitrary they may be, are the ultimate justification for the way things are. By starting the Seder with questions, the rabbis show us the importance of telling the story of freedom and acting like free people. When my kids, Avi and Meital, were younger, Ida and I would read them a wonderful PJ Library book called On the Day You Were Born. It's written by author-illustrator Deborah Fraser. This story, which is actually based on a Talmudic passage, poses a question. Why do we teach our children to ask? The answer, in the womb, each of us, according to tradition, knows all the secrets of the universe. But just before we're born, an angel, some say the angel's name is Lilith, touches us above our lips and we forget. That indentation, called the philtrum, reminds us that it's the business of life to learn. When it comes to the 4 questions this year, there will certainly be an elephant in the room. Hopefully, it won't look like the image our tech team displayed on the screen. Thank you very much. Though every Seder provides an opportunity to lean on tradition, we need to acknowledge that living in a post-October 7th world is truly unprecedented. While some families choose to leave an empty chair at every Seder table, for the prophet Elijah, we also keep a cup for him on the table. Perhaps this year we can leave an empty chair or 2 at the Seder table to recognize that many Jewish families in the world will be celebrating the holiday without their loved ones, whether they're still hostages in Gaza or they died heroically serving in the Israel Defense Forces, defending the freedom of Israel. Perhaps this year, in addition to the questions posed by the youngest set at our tables, a reminder of Jewish continuity and survival, we should give adults the opportunity to answer the question, why is this night different from all other nights? Ideally by giving everyone's feelings respect and space, and without making it a time for argumentation or telling others at the table that your opinions are more important or correct than theirs. It could also be a chance for kids to express their feelings about the struggles they might have been feeling over the past number of months. When we get to the 10 plagues section of the Seder, we might ask this year, what does the plague of darkness mean to us? Though the darkness back then was meant exclusively for the Egyptians in the story, Jewish communities around the world are experiencing very challenging times of their own. Whether in Israel, where tens of thousands of Israeli families are still displaced from their homes in both the south and the north. Not only, and there are eternal conflicts within the Israeli populace that have greatly intensified of late, not only with families of the hostages and their allies who view the IDF offensives as taking precedence or priority over releasing their loved ones, but also with the Haredim. These are the ultra-Orthodox Jews who desperately want to keep their draft exemptions for yeshiva students intact. Here in America, the sharp rise in anti-Semitism continues to rattle Jews at college campuses. More than a dozen universities are now under federal investigation for not adequately protecting Jewish students from anti-Semitism. And I just read today that some of this attention is now going to be pointed at K through 12 schools in various communities in America. Perhaps what we need most of all during this Passover season is a measure of healing, or refuah. Thankfully, Hadassah, the Women's Zionist Organization of America, has offered a meaningful ritual for this. So I'll ask our tech team to display a picture of this on the screen. We usually have, as I was sharing with somebody earlier before the service, 3 slices of matzah on a separate plate, not on the Seder plate, but on a separate matzah plate. Hadassah suggests that we add a 4th matzah of healing this year. because while all of us are saddened by October 7th and its aftermath, it's so important, like those hands all holding that piece of matzah, to gather together and hope for a brighter future. A rabbi named Abraham Joshua Heschel was fond of saying that the important thing in life is not to ask questions, but to ask the right questions. For this, we need an occasion, a structure, and a set of symbols to prod us, all of which are provided by the sensory delights of the Seder table. These give the children of Israel, such as little David, and adults, like most of us, plenty to do. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue now with the Aleinu, the adoration, found on page 282. Any gentlemen who'd like to join us on the ark to open the Aron Kodesh, you can feel free to come forward. All right. Thank you, Josh.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות הרמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל הבונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Feel free to be seated. We'll continue now on page 294, where you'll find the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, words of praise. We first think of families in the period of Shloshim, whether in Israel, Ukraine, or here in the United States, as we remember Rabbi Barry Silver, friend of Lynn Rosenthal, Bobby Chambers, cousin of Lori Bauk, Al Leo, close friend of Rabbi Gary Klein, Joseph Lieberman, former Connecticut senator, Robert Wallstein, cousin of Myron Graff, and Selma Biller, aunt of Debbie Gollum. We also mark the yahrzeit anniversary of passing of loved ones. On this Shabbat, we fondly remember Marjorie Katzaf Buckman, Joni Carlisle, Arlen Cohn, Norman Etroff, Harold Eisner, Besson Tell, Cicely Fox, Sylvia Fox, Stefan Freifeld, Herbert Gamler, Leo Goldsmith, Jonas Grushkin, Barry Heiserman, Alex Hawk, Louis Joseph, Milton Keshin, Sadie Rusty Kessler, Elizabeth Kovis, Sadie Kravitz, Shem Tov Mala, Isabel Pincus, Diane Rosen, Ray Schwartz, Hyman Segundi, Rebecca Siegel Hurwitz, Minnie Siegel, Beverly Solomon, Stanley Solomon, Joanne Sorkers, Rebecca Stein, William Stein, Harold Turkle, Keith Willett, and Jeannie Wint. Are there any other names to add for either Shloshim, 30 days, or Yahrzeit? Yes. Thank you. We say, Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of all of these good people continue to be a source of blessing in their loved ones' lives as we rise to recite the words of Kaddish praise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma dibrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon av yomechon uv'chayet kol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei el-maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudashah b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlam rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who causes peace in the heavens cause peace to descend on us, Israel, Ukraine, and the world, to which we say amen.
V'imiru, 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 amen. V'imiru, 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 amen.
Feel free to be seated. You'll find the words of the Shabbat Kiddush, blessing over the fruit of the vine, on page 5, as well as right there on the screen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ava uvratzon ichilanu, zikaron le'maaseh b'reishit, ihu yom tefilah l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ibanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidasha, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ava uvratzon, inkaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat. Chaim, to life. Any teens? One in the room, two. To join us, Avi and Drew. One of whom will be becoming a bar mitzvah in just 2 weeks' time. And I'll give you a clue, it's not Avi. That time has passed. Please do. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Pleasure to call forward Steve Sussner, representing the board leadership of our congregation. He's going to be sharing some important Shabbat announcements with us.
No problem. Many thanks to Rabbi Matt, Allison, Joy for leading a wonderful Shabbat service, along with our tech team, Barbara Gittimer and Sophia Schoen, and our greeters, Gary and Joan Felser and Saul Tav. On Thursday, April 18th at 7 p.m., Sisterhood, Hadassah, and JWI will present a discussion with TAS siblings Elise Silva and Mark Silva, who will share their experiences volunteering in Israel post-October 7th. An RSVP is needed. Ron Gilberg will lead our next Shabbat morning minyan on Saturday, April 20th at 9 a.m. Our annual second night Passover Community Seder will take place on Tuesday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. RSVP online or by phone. The Pinellas County Board of Rabbis and Jewish Federation will host a Yom HaShoah Holocaust commemoration on Sunday, May 5th at 7 p.m. at Congregation Beth Shalom with guest speaker Michael Eigel, interim CEO of the Florida Holocaust Museum. Join us on Monday, May 13th at 7 p.m. for a great Israel Independence Day program with Israeli author and comedian Joel Chasnoff. This is the opening event of Israel Days, sponsored by 5 area congregations and the Jewish Federation. After the service, please join us for an Oneg Shabbat in the social hall. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much. And a special welcome to any guests who are here with us this evening. Be sure to say hello to all of us, including myself, when we're in the social hall after our closing song, which is Yehiyu L'Ratzon. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable to you, God, our rock and our Redeemer. Yehiyu L'Ratzon, Refi, V'hegyon libi lefanecha. Yehiyu L'Ratzon, Refi, V'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri. Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Vegoani. Yehiyu L'Ratzon, Imrefi, V'hegyon libi lefanecha. Yehiyu L'Ratzon, Imrefi, V'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Vegoali. Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Adonai Suri, Vegoali. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.